Here we are, episode 29 of Often Racing. We're at our farm in the Hunter Valley at where all the Kurrinda Bloodstock horses spell, and I've got Dave Rorison from Rorison Media and Stridle who's joining us. Thanks for coming, mate.
Mate, how good is it up here? It is looking very lush and the horses are looking very happy. It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty dry. It's bloody dry, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's we had 12 mil the other night, and but you'll see when you go to Scone, it's just dry, windy, hot. Yep.
It seems a little bit more unseasonable than it has been previously. And what do you think? Like,
this is probably the driest we've seen this place in 6 years, I think. Yeah, and we irrigate every day, all day, but there's nothing like rainwater.
Is there anything on the radar, bro? Like looking at what was
next week? Like we're getting the storms, so like even the rain that we got, it's just little storms that are coming through. Yeah. But we'll take anything.
Talking about storms, end of the season for a lot of the industry. We're about to go into the yearling sales season, which for a lot of people it's been a sticky year. But for yourself, it looks like you've sold out 95% of your yearlings. Into the season already. You've already got Shiki, who's joint favourite for the Magic Millions 2-year-old race. How do you think the season's been so far?
On the track, it's just been our best season or best year since we've become a syndicator, for sure. Like, if they're not winning, they're running well. As long as they're competitive, I'm happy. We've had a few feature wins, which is an added bonus, but they're all running well. Horses are in good order. A lot of credit goes to what we do here, I think. Yeah. And off the track, it's been, I think for everyone, this year's been, sticky's probably the best way to explain it. Like you said, it's been a push. You've had to work hard, and like we've had great results, and we've still had to work hard. Yeah. It doesn't come to you, but that's just speaking from our opinion and just being transparent. It's been a push.
So when we're saying it's like a sticky market, obviously we're comparing to other years that may have been a little bit easier, but also as a part of that, yearling prices for the last 10 years have only went up incrementally, maybe 4 to 6% every single year. I think 2 years ago was the highest you would have paid for a yearling on average at Magic Millions in the last 10 years. That cost you obviously pick up at the sales when you purchase the horse, but then obviously you're looking to syndicate down to owners who are looking to take on the experience of racehorse ownership. Do you see the same appetite for racehorse ownership that you've seen in previous years? And does it get better or worse when you've had a bit of success with horses like, Private Harry, etc.?
Yeah, well, I think it just, people look at you in a different light, don't they? Like as fickle as it sounds, they want to see those results on the track, and not just, at country or provincial level. They want you there on the big days. Yep. And they want you to, they want to see that, can we get the job done in the big races? But we've been fortunate, a bit of luck's gone our way, a bit of luck hasn't gone our way, and you've just got to roll with the punches. And it's just been, I think it just goes down the line too. Like, this is a luxury sport, and most people are in it to have a hobby. But whether someone owns a big building company and then their clients are either going into liquidation or not getting paid, or and then that naturally affects people or businesses like us, because those big builders or a big landscaper or maybe accountants or financial investors or whoever they may be, or farmers. Yep. Farmers are weather dependent. We've got a lot of like farmers and stations that are investors, and obviously if they have a bad season, that affects them. Yep. That affects businesses like, obviously probably silly as it sounds, but like personal trainers, or because it's a luxury, or supplement shops, or getting, retail in general, or us, and things that you don't need to live. Yes. Obviously your grocery stores and all your necessities, they always keep rolling, and probably some for tobacconists and alcohol and like that rolls through. But it's the luxury items. People go, oh, do I need that? But our job is to just focus on what we can control, and we're just very lucky. We've got a fantastic ownership base, a good database, and we just try and supply the best service possible. And in saying that, next year, it's going to be really interesting with the feedback that I've heard so far. Like, will the sales be soft? Like, I don't know what you said, but everyone says, oh, it's going to be soft. I don't think they'll be soft. I just think people are going to be cautious.
Yeah.
Passing rate will be greater.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. There's no money around. If syndicators or trainers are just pulling back even 20%, that's a big margin to fill. Yeah. If you have 500 buyers that are pulling back even 10%,
yeah.
The passing rates might be higher, or I think they will be, or the reserves that were there, they're going to have to be lowered, the expectations. It's going to be interesting.
And looking at your results of the season, it's, you know, the yearling season, they're now 2-year-olds, and having a bit of a look at what you've got so far. So the most you spent on a yearling this year was 420,000, and that was the filly that we're talking about, Shiki. But your average, what do you think your average was this year you spent?
Oh,
across, I think it was 17 yearlings you purchased.
Yep. 180?
No, 162.
Oh, I was quite...
Which is good, which is, you know, it's a good...
It's in the medium range, isn't it? Yeah.
I would say if you put that across the average of certainly Magic Millions and Easter, that's below the average and probably sits around that classic, you know, expenditure. So to get 17 horses across the books, different sales, different price points, and obviously you've entrusted them with a number of trainers. I think looking at it, there's 2,780 plus trainers in Australia for you to choose from. How do you go about choosing trainers, and how much does that determine when having success in the track? Huge.
It's everything for us. And again, I'll answer all these questions purely based on what we do for our business. It's massive. I won't buy a horse. I already know what trainer, whether we're successful in that auction or not. I know where that horse is going when we're bidding on it. I think that's paramount. Everyone's different, but I think you need to know, like, why am I going hard on this horse and who am I going to send it to?
Yeah.
I think that's so important. Who does this suit? Who would it not suit? And every trainer has their niche. But it's, very important.
And the one thing I don't know if, because I've only ever worked in horse racing. So for 22 years, I've worked in horse racing. And I've worked for a number of the leading lights, Mark Johnston, Gay Waterhouse, John O'Shea, etc. And longevity is always important in this industry. It's a very much a long game that you play. You see, so everyone needs a bit of luck in this industry, but how important is it that you're consistent in your selection process? Because I assume if you don't select the right horse and give it to the right trainer, they won't have success in the track. How do you see the selection process as part of your processes?
It's right up there. You've got to believe and stick to your systems. I think if your systems are working, do not change them. I'm a big data person. Everyone's different. Again, I'll answer this purely on what we do. I'm huge on farm data, where their businesses are trending.
Yep.
Certain farms will target certain sales.
Yep. And
I think we track at the end of each year, for the following year, before I hit the ground, where businesses are trending, like their businesses, because I don't know how they're running their business, but I can track data.
Yep.
And I can say, so X farm, well, they're getting better results the last 3 years at classics. All right, no worries. And then I'll see, why are they not at Magics, or this bee farm is trending towards Premier. That's interesting. So I try and follow their business's trend. You see how many metropolitan horses come out of the farm as a percentage, and then you trust your system you with the matings and the nickings and the physical attribute that horse has. And then obviously you go through the vetting processes, which sometimes you're like very disappointed because you might love a horse and it gets knocked back straight away. So all you can do is tick every single box that you can tick, put it through your system, and like our same educational system, our same spelling, our same nutrition, our same pre-training, and then I know how all of our trainers work, and I think structurally how a horse is built is so important on what trainer you send it to.
Yeah.
And whether they're precocious, whether they're not precocious, whether they're light boned, heavy boned. I look at all of that just because I know, or I believe I know how our trainers work quite well.
Yep.
I just think that's important.
Can anyone buy a good horse, and can anyone buy a good horse consistently?
Anyone can get lucky buying a good horse, but they can't consistently buy good horses. That's just my honest opinion. Like we can all get lucky, but I think someone that's coming off the street might buy a horse and get lucky. It might be a freak, but ask them to do that 100 times. And I think you'll see the results will go down pretty quick. I think it's all about consistency. If you can consistently buy a horse that's competitive, you're a good judge. And I think the better judges are, what's the least amount I can spend to get a result?
Yep.
Not the most amount.
Yep.
A lot of the big hitters will spend big money and their results are quite awful.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. So what's the least amount I can spend for the best result?
What's the old, have you ever read the Robert Sangster book?
No.
Horse Trader. The philosophy when I think Robert Sangster and the Coolmore team back in the 70s, when they were setting records in the 70s, which are still stronger than our sales now, 30, 40 years on, the man who buys the most is the man who buys the best, or very similar, probably murdered that saying, but the philosophy was if you buy 20, we just need that one Danehill, that one Saddler's Wells to make it viable. But obviously your model is not that. You have to go for constant consistency in your results. And looking at what you've got this year, would you be satisfied in that market knowing that you spent 160 over 17 yearlings and 2.7 million in expenditure across the season?
I think it's, now that you've given me like the average, I think it's a great result. I thought it would have been that slightly higher, but I think we'll see on the racetrack, won't we, in the next 12 months, and you can ask me again. But with what we're seeing, with the babies coming through, the 2-year-olds coming through, we're very content and very happy with what we've seen.
And looking at the results here, from what I can see, there's only 4 2-year-olds currently named. Where are they up to at the moment? And we'll start off with maybe with Written and Money, with Richard and Will.
Yep. Beautiful colt. By the time this podcast come out, I'd say he would have already trialled this Thursday.
Yep.
What's today, the 15th? So 18th, he'll trial at this stage.
Yep.
Lovely colts with glowing comments by the trainers and the riders that I won't name that have been riding him. But again, that's all good and well. We need to see it on race day, don't we? So they can all come out and trial really well. And we just put a lid on it with the owners. And as much as we let them get excited, we just bring them back and let's just see them do it on race day.
Shiki, we can come back to her as the 4th one, because I'd like to hear a little bit more what you think of her. Sorcerer's Spirit of Boom out of Queen of Wizardry. You bought that from Cambridge Stud for 300,000. What's the thoughts on him?
Well, with him, I just felt that we bought him in conjunction with Tony, and he was micromanaging us too much.
Tony Golan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just wasn't liking how it was operating, so I actually sent the horse to Tony.
Okay.
And I have nothing to do with that horse now.
That's no longer on the VIX?
No, just with yeah, like we stick to and that's an example. We stick to our systems, and that was a new relationship. It wasn't going the way I liked it to go. So I just pulled back and said, we won't want to be a part of it.
Yep.
And I think since then it's broken down, to be honest. I heard last week.
So then your average would be even lower again, if you take the 300,000 off it. Moving on to a little bit more, obviously, a place that I would love to spend a little bit more time is my local. The Acrobat Music Maker, you bought that from Willow Park Stud. This time this was at Classic Sale, and you for 130. What's the thought on him?
Lovely colt. He trolled last week, went shin sore. He was just feeling his shins just a little bit, but enough to still give him an educated soft trial, and trialled up really well. Dylan Gibbons gave a good report. He'll arrive back at our farm either today or tomorrow. 8 weeks off. Matthew, word for word, said to me he's one of the nicest colts that he rides in his stable. So, showing his good ability.
The rest of them, as I said, are unnamed, but I'd love to hear more about Shiki. You asked us to go out and film her within the last 2 weeks. She's at Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Botts. She won the gym crack. She's trialled up since. How's she trekking towards what I understand would be the Magic Millions 2-year-old Classic as her next feature start, but I'm guessing she'll have a few runs in between that.
Yep. She'll run this Saturday at Randwick in a 2-year-old plate, and then she'll go 3 weeks between runs up to the Gold Coast in the Pearl.
The Pearl, okay. Is that the week before it?
Yep.
Yep.
And then she'll have the backup into the Magic Millions, so she'll be third up.
Yep.
So we haven't spoken past that. We'll just get through Saturday first, and then I think with Tim's feedback and Gay and Adrian's feedback, she'll be pretty hard to beat there, I think. And if she can get the job done in good fashion, we'll head north, and hopefully she takes that next step.
And with the rest of them, what ones would you expect to see before Christmas?
I've got it won't be before Christmas because that's only 2 weeks away, but I've got a really nice time terrain filly with Nathan.
Yep.
And a really nice Portland Sky colt with Nathan Doyle. He's probably one of our picks. He's showing his really nice ability.
Kalani?
Yeah. He's we had to pay a fair bit for him, but
320,000 at Classic.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a cheap price with what we're seeing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really like this colt.
What's he showing that gives you that confidence?
Just that natural precocity. He's one of the best moving 2-year-olds that I've seen for a while, but has scope. I believe he'll go into Nathan's at the end of this week. He's just in pre-training now. He unfortunately went shinny. He was probably a week or two out from a trial. So we just pushed the naming back, and he's actually named Deep Horizon, so he got named last week.
Deep Horizon.
Deep Horizon.
That's not the one that the submarine went down with the pilot had. It was like a PlayStation remote, was it? That wasn't.
I don't know. One of the owners did so we send votes out for the name. So one of the and then we did a second round of votes, and that was the most popular. So Deep Horizon. Well, Portland's by Deep Field. Yeah. And Horizon, Portland Sky. It's, play on words, I guess. But just keep an eye out for him. And probably another filly, and you might ask me about it later, but Gorgeous with David Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I looked at that trial. Hasn't appeared this prep?
This Thursday.
This Thursday as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's... Yeah. I loved her. I seen her at Sedgenho. Yeah. She's lovely. Yeah, lovely filly. I think she could be quite good. So keep an eye out for Gorgeous. The Captivant Happy Pilgrim, which makes it half to Private Harry.
Yep.
You bought her from Classic for 220. Obviously, half sister to a Group 1 winner. How's she trekking along towards this prep? She's okay. Her attitude's only fair. Her attitude needs to improve. But that's just at the farm. But it's always, you get a guide of how they're going to be with how they are here. But that's just me being honest. The owners know that. She's quite sassy. She's in pre-training now.
She'll head back to Nathan's in probably 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, she's trending. We haven't really tightened any screws on her. So like when I say the deep horizon, I've got an opinion, like he was to the point of having a trial.
Yep.
So we knew where we sat with him. She's the complete opposite. She hasn't even galloped yet. So, but to be fair, like her job's somewhat done, like she's obviously related to a Group 1 winner. So, residually, it's a good result for the owners.
One that caught my eye, I'm guessing it's all sold out by now, is the Russian Revolution Mudge Lisa Lass. You paid $120 for him. Again, Willow Park. That one stood out for me because I've seen his name pop up a few times. What's his status? Yeah,
he still has shares available,
okay,
actually.
Yeah.
He's literally, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but that's him with half a fly veil off at the moment. Yeah, no, lovely colt. He just got back last Friday from Luke Morgan's.
Yep.
He'll have 3 weeks or so off, and he'll go straight down to Matthew Dale. Lovely colt out of a Group 1 winner, tough, strong, like gives us that feel that he'll just run through a brick wall.
And looking at when you purchase these yearlings, I know I've been an owner myself and I've been a racing manager. It's very easy for your heart to get ahead of your head. You see the first report come in and your brain goes, would I wear to Golden Slipper Day? It's just, as owners, we live in a fantasy world, which is fantastic. But how do you set realistic goals that you set yourself to ensure that your owners are kept up to date, everything's kept on ground, all expectations are met, but you keep a little bit of spice, a little bit of, a little bit of Walt Disney about it? How do you ensure that you manage each expectation going the way through?
I think whether people like it or not, we're just so to the point and so honest. Yeah. And I just, in our updates, I just honestly just say, look, just relax. If you win a trial, great, but there's no prize money in trials. We're there to win races. We want to win horse races, and that's where the prize money is. That's where the residual is. And for colts, obviously more so, black type or Group 1s is where it's at. But we just say, look, get excited, enjoy it, but let's just see it on race day. And when they show it on race day and they come out and perform at an extremely good level and say they win, we still say, look, like especially 2-year-olds, yeah. We just say, look, fantastic, enjoy the day, but it's important. You need to see it again,
yep.
And again, like they need to trend the right way.
Yep. And obviously they can improve greatly prep by prep. What would be your hope for this season? Obviously we've got Shiki who's flying the flag, but you get, as we say, we'll get 16 to 17 2-year-olds coming through. What would be a pass mark come the end of the season? What would be the minimum pass mark for yourself and your owners with a 2-year-old?
It's a good question for the 2-year-old.
Just for the 2-year-olds, because obviously you've got. We'll touch on the older horses in a second.
It's a good question. I think, again, like I don't want to sound unrealistic, but I'll just be honest. I think Shiki is a genuine slipper chance. Yeah. I think if she trends the right way, she's by the right sire in Too Darn Hot, she'll get 1200 easy. Yep. High pressure racing, I think you'll see her go to another level. Yep. I think she's just been naturally too brilliant for her trials and probably her racing. Yep. But once she is able to take a sit, and they've been teaching her to take a sit, which is such a great sign for a Gay and Adrian trained horse, that if they're teaching a horse to take a sit, they've got a big opinion about a horse. Yeah. That's just the way I look at it. Written in Money, I think, is a genuine horse that could probably aim up at a race like that.
Yep.
And I know it's crazy because he's unraced. Is that all right?
Yes. Yeah.
I know it's crazy because it's
that was just a camera that they just went off there off, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he's untrialled, unraced, but I think with what he's showing us, he could probably trend towards that. The Deep Horizon, and the Portland Sky Colt. He's another one that could be, whether it be the Millennium because he's purchased at Inglis, Whether he'll be ready by then, maybe not. But that's a race that's just so. Like we tried to target the nursery.
Yep.
Went Shinsaw. But the Millennium probably sticks out, and then I think he's a quality colt.
Yep.
And then the others probably haven't been screwed down enough to make a judgment yet.
Yep.
Past Mark, that they all win races somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm a realist, but with what I've seen so far, that's probably the only way I could answer that, because they haven't been screwed down.
Well, I think they were saying that last year, was it? The stat was something like the lowest amount of 2-year-old runners in the last 35 years was last year. So maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a trend away from they have to be early 2-year-olds. I went to the jump house at Rosehill Warwick Farm in Ranwick, and it was a quieter morning than what we'd seen previous years. And obviously when you went to the trials, we were all done within 2 hours, which is, I think they were saying a few years ago, there was 22 trials only, 15, 20 years ago. They said
It's such a big event.
yeah, it used to be huge.
2-year-old trials, breakfast on. And I just think people are trending away from it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's everyone's business model. I'm trending towards it. If I have a filly that wins a slipper, she's still a $5 million filly.
Yep.
If you win a slipper with a colt, it's still a $20 or $30 million colt. The prices don't change. If there's less horses to compete against, that's not my problem. We can only compete against what's there.
Yep.
If people say, they're not as good as 5 years ago, they're not. Data will show you they're not.
Yeah.
Ratings will show you that, but that's not something we can control. The breeding has changed a lot as well. Like, are they bred softer? Are they bred weaker? There's a lot of imports now. There's a lot of different bloodlines. I think just worrying about yesterday is ridiculous. Let's just move forward with the industry and focus on now. And if there's no 2-year-olds, well, I'm cheering. Like at the end of the day, you can only beat who's there, and you can only compete against who's there. And everyone's got their opinions, but the pedigree page doesn't say otherwise.
And talking about colts that's had a quiet 2-year-old year but showing something, but improved into the 3-year-old year, I think Hidden Motive has to be an absolute poster child for that. From memory, I think he ran 4th in a Breeders' Plate.
Unlucky not to win, like 4th in a Breeders' Plate. And he's run in the Heritage, I think he ran 5th. His lead-up run to the Roman Consul, that was better than his win. Yeah. It was huge. It was a bit of a hidden run too.
Yeah.
Wide gate, trap deep, worked. Tommy Berry had, 20 out of 10 to keepers wide. I believe on Michael Freedman's horse, the slipper winner.
Yep.
And we got beat 1.1 or something. And then we came out, drew a gate, dictated, won. So, and then he just felt the ground in Melbourne. He just jarred up on a good 3. It was probably a firm 2, because he is quite a heavy horse. So, he's true. Where is his ceiling? I don't know. I was just talking to Nathan then. He actually arrived back this morning to Nathan's. He was in pre-training for 2 weeks. So we don't know where his ceiling is. Like, ideally, if we can get a good result in autumn, we'll probably aim at like a 2nd-tier Group 1 race. Yep. And if we can get top 3 with him, again, being realistic, I don't know if I'll be honest, I don't think he's at that top level, but I think we could probably get a result at the 2nd-tier Group 1s. Yep. And that's great. Like, he's a Group 2 winning colt out of a Group 1 winner, by a Group 1 winner. Yep. And has speed, which everyone wants. So if we could get a 3rd in a Group 1, I think that probably hopefully stamps him to be in the Hunter Valley. Yep. Whereas at the moment, he's probably more a Queensland or WA type of horse. I think Private Harry, at his best and sound, he's the best sprinter in the country. So it was a shit show from the get-go. But I won't go into all the details, and we had our reasons why we wanted the jockey change. Briassa was on the inside of us, and he kept laying down on Briassa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whether it's male or female, if there's a grey, it's his.
He's got a penchant.
Yeah. and have their, their opinion. I don't give a stuff what you've got to say, to be honest. So I've just blocked everyone's number, and I will not talk to it. The only journalist I spoke to was Ray Thomas, so everyone else can get stuffed.